Okay, everybody, I'm going to give you a kind of a rundown of what the code does, and the YouTube video that this code came from will also be in this module. So basically what this is doing, in a nutshell, the integer n is equal to 5. So we created a variable of n, and we assigned it a value of 5. You should be familiar with that. And then we are printing out the address. The little and sign means the memory address of the number 5. So here's our first cout right here. That's the memory address. Then the star indicates that you are creating a pointer. Now a pointer is basically like a little container where you can store the memory address of the variable of n. So now this is pointing to the actual memory address right here. This line right here, I'm sorry, where am I? This right here, you're going directly to, you're saying where is the variable located. The difference here is now we are going to say on this cout, where is the memory address of the variable stored. So it's basically like here's the actual address, and it is written down and stored elsewhere because we did this. PTR is writing it down and storing it elsewhere. So now that we have it, we print out the stored memory address, then we can dereference the pointer, which means instead of printing out the memory address, let's print out what is on that memory address. Okay, so we're saying we don't want the memory address. Now notice over here the star indicates that we are creating a pointer. When it's over here, that's what it does. Then it does something totally different when it's over here. Then it dereferences when it's actually next to the variable itself. So now we have dereferenced the pointer. So our first cout, we were looking at the actual address. Our second cout, we're looking at, hey, what's the value where we stored the address? Because we took it, we copied it, we stored it elsewhere. The third variable, right here, cout, is, I'm sorry, where are we at here? 1, 2, 3. The third variable, we are dereferencing pointer, and we're saying, okay, go to that memory address and tell me what is stored in it, which right now is the number 5 because that's what we did right here. Now we're saying assign a value of 10 to that memory address. So it's we're dereferencing pointer, and we are now assigning the value of 10 to it rather than 5. So we now put the number 10 in that memory address. So n was pointing to a memory address that used to have a 5, but down here we changed it to a 10, and we did it at the level of, well, the memory address rather than signing it up here in the code. We actually changed what was in that memory address. So now our cout of the dereferenced pointer, it's going to point to the new value because we just changed it here. PTR equals 10, PTR, the printout. It makes sense that it would print out to the new value. But what's kind of funny to see here is now the cout of n is still 10. Hopefully that's making sense, because we gave it a value of 5, but that 5 was stored in this memory address, and we printed it out by referencing that memory address. But then we changed what was in that memory address to a 10. So now when we print out the value of n, it is coming through as a 10 because we changed what was in the memory address that was originally and automatically assigned up here. So it's actually a pretty cool concept. Try to make sure you understand it at least fairly thoroughly. Oh yeah, I got to give you an assignment description. Hold on 1 second, and I'll give you a little break. Try to let that sink in. Watch it again if you need to, and I'll put an assignment description right after this.